Have you ever wondered how much one can steal using self-checkout? There's a tale that might pique your curiosity, a tale of Aziza Graves, a woman from San Francisco. Over a year-long period, Graves turned the convenience of self-checkout into a criminal enterprise, stealing more than $60,000 worth of items from a single Target store. From October 3rd, 2020 to November 16th, 2021, Graves executed her plan with a brazen audacity that's hard to comprehend. She committed the crime not once, not twice, but an astounding 120 times. That's an average of about once every 3 days for over a year. Each time she would enter the store, fill her cart with items, then proceed to the self-checkout. She would scan the items, but instead of paying the full amount due, she would insert just a single coin or bill into the machine and then exit the store, leaving with far more than she paid for. This wasn't a case of a one-off shoplifting incident or even a few isolated events. This was a meticulously calculated operation, a crime spree that spanned over a year and netted Graves more than $60,000 in stolen goods. But the story doesn't end there. After successfully pilfering the items, Graves would then sell her ill-gotten gains at the UN Plaza in the city, turning stolen merchandise into cold, hard cash. It was a cycle of theft and profit that went on for over a year, uninterrupted. And during this time, Graves wasn't just targeting Target. She was also convicted of stealing from a San Francisco-based Abercrombie & Fitch store, further adding to her criminal resume. So how did she manage to pull off such a massive theft? Let's delve deeper. Utilizing the self-checkout system, Graves found a loophole that she exploited to her advantage. The self-checkout system, designed to expedite the shopping experience, became an unwitting accomplice in her grand scheme of theft. Graves had a straightforward routine. She would stroll into the Target store, gather a collection of items, then proceed to the self-checkout kiosks. Here, instead of paying for the full value of the items, she would merely insert a single coin or bill into the machine. This action would give the impression of a transaction, while in reality, it was a ruse to steal goods right under the eyes of store employees and security cameras. Her method was not just cunning, but audacious. She wasn't just stealing a few items here and there, but rather, she was systematically pocketing merchandise worth thousands of dollars. Over a one-year period, she managed to steal merchandise worth over $60,000, all while using this simple yet deceptive trick. What's more, her crime wasn't a one-off incident. Graves was far from a novice in this game of theft. She had perfected her method of exploiting the self-checkout system, using it to her advantage not just once, twice, or even a dozen times. No, Graves used this technique to steal from the same Target store an astonishing 120 times. This wasn't a sporadic act of theft driven by desperation or need. It was a carefully orchestrated operation carried out with precision and audacity, and it was all made possible by exploiting a system designed to make shopping easier for customers, turning it into a tool for grand larceny. But where did all those stolen goods end up? Stolen goods usually find their way into the black market, and Graves was no different. The black market, a shadowy world where illegitimate transactions occur, is often the final destination for stolen goods. It's a place where criminals can turn their ill-gotten gains into cold, hard cash. And for Graves, the UN Plaza in San Francisco became her personal marketplace. Plying her trade in this bustling public space, Graves was seen selling the items she had pilfered from the self-checkout at Target. From electronics to clothing, these stolen goods found their way into the hands of unwitting buyers, who were most likely unaware of their origins. This method of disposal is not unique to Graves. Many thieves turn to the black market to sell their stolen goods, as it provides a relatively easy way to convert stolen items into money. It's a practice as old as thieving itself and remains prevalent in today's digital age. Despite the challenges posed by law enforcement and advancements in technology, the black market continues to thrive, fueled by the continuous supply of stolen goods. However, selling stolen goods in public spaces such as the UN Plaza is not without its risks. Being in a public area exposes criminals like Graves to the prying eyes of law enforcement and the public. Yet the lure of quick money often outweighs these risks for thieves. Graves' operation at the UN Plaza is a stark reminder of the vast network that supports and profits from these illicit activities. It's a system that not only encourages theft but also harms legitimate businesses and consumers who bear the brunt of these crimes in the form of higher prices and increased security measures. But Graves didn't limit her thefts to just Target. Graves also had her sights set on other retailers. While her primary playground was the Target store, Graves didn't limit her sticky-fingered shopping sprees to just one retail giant. The audacious shoplifter was also convicted of pilfering from a San Francisco-based Abercrombie & Fitch store. Diversifying her portfolio of theft, Graves proved herself to be an equal opportunity offender, not bound by brand or store. Her crime spree was as varied as the merchandise she coveted. This woman, armed with nothing more than a deceptive payment trick and audacious determination, managed to wreak havoc on multiple retailers' ability to operate and serve the public. It's important to underscore that the impact of Graves' actions reached far beyond the store's profit margins. These crimes contributed to a culture of theft that had serious implications for the community at large. The ripple effects were felt in the form of store closures, reduced operating hours, and increased security measures that affected the shopping experience for law-abiding consumers. Graves' brazen and repeated conduct was a stark reminder of how one individual's actions can have far-reaching consequences. She single-handedly disrupted the retail landscape in San Francisco, creating a climate of apprehension and mistrust. However, it wasn't just the frequency of Graves' thefts that was astonishing. It was the audacity, the sheer boldness of her actions. She didn't lurk in the shadows, but rather committed her crimes in broad daylight, under the watchful eyes of security cameras and store employees. The evidence paints a picture of a woman who was not only a master manipulator of self-checkout systems, but also a fearless thief who did not hesitate to strike again and again. She operated with a blatant disregard for the law, seemingly confident that she could continue her crime spree unchecked. However, every crime spree has its end, and as we'll see in our next segment, Graves' audacious run would soon come to a screeching halt. Graves' crime spree eventually caught up with her. The sophisticated scheme, the self-checkout manipulations, the back-and-forth trips to the same Target store, all of it finally came to a halt. As the evidence piled up against her, the wheels of justice began to turn. On one side there was Aziza Graves, a 43-year-old woman from San Francisco. On the other, there was the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, armed with a mountain of evidence and a determination to seek justice. The stage was set for a courtroom showdown. The charges against Graves were no small matter: 1 felony count of grand theft and 52 misdemeanor counts of petty theft. A series of retail thefts, all committed at one unsuspecting Target store. The total haul? Over $60,000. The jury, tasked with the solemn duty of determining Graves' guilt or innocence, was presented with a large volume of evidence. Weeks were spent examining every piece, every detail, every facet of this intricate case. The process was painstaking, but justice demanded nothing less. And so, the verdict was reached: guilty. Aziza Graves, the woman who turned a simple self-checkout counter into a personal cash register, was found guilty of grand theft and petty theft. The jury had spoken, and their message was clear: such brazen thefts would not be tolerated. The district attorney, Brooke Jenkins, echoed the sentiment in a statement following the conviction. She emphasized the impact of Graves' actions on retailers' ability to operate and serve the public, and the need for accountability. The conviction marked the end of one chapter in Graves' story, but the narrative is far from over. Graves, now a convicted thief, faces a future filled with uncertainty and the looming shadow of a possible prison sentence. But what does the future hold for Graves? Convicted criminals must face the consequences of their actions. These are words that ring true in every corner of our justice system. And for Aziza Graves, the woman who had orchestrated a grand theft scheme of more than $60,000 from a single Target store, these consequences are coming to bear. The prosecutors have spoken and the gavel has fallen. Graves is facing a sentence of more than 3 years in prison for her calculated and repeated thefts. The date is set. May 24th is when her fate will be sealed, when the final judgment will be passed. District Attorney Brooke Jenkins had some strong words to share following Graves's conviction. A sense of resolve and determination echoed in her statement, emphasizing the significance of this case in the grand scheme of things. According to her, individuals like Graves who commit such brazen and repeated thefts greatly impact the ability of retailers to operate and serve the public. Jenkins stressed the need for accountability in such cases, a sentiment that resonates with us all. She highlighted that this case sends a clear message to others who might be contemplating similar actions. The message is simple but powerful. Theft will not be tolerated, and those who engage in such acts will be pursued, prosecuted, and penalized. This case, Jenkins stated, is a testament to the dedication of their local law enforcement partners in fighting retail theft. It serves as a beacon of hope for retailers who have been suffering from such crimes and a warning sign for those who dare to cross the line. In conclusion, Graves' case serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of theft. Her story is not just about one woman's crime spree, but a larger narrative about the repercussions of theft. It underlines the fact that crime does not pay, and in the end, justice will always have the last word. Let's recap what we've learned about this extraordinary case. In a string of bold thefts, Aziza Graves, a 43-year-old woman from San Francisco, embarked on an audacious crime spree. Over a period of just over a year, she targeted the same Target store 120 times, pilfering more than $60,000 worth of goods. Her method was remarkably simple, yet alarmingly effective. She would stroll into the store, select her items, and then proceed to the self-checkout kiosks. She scanned the items, but instead of paying the full amount, she inserted just a single coin or bill into the machine before making her exit. Her actions were a stark reminder of how self-service systems, while offering convenience, can also be vulnerable to exploitation. Graves didn't stop at Target, however. She was also convicted of stealing from a San Francisco-based Abercrombie & Fitch store, highlighting the extent of her criminal activities. But, as with all crimes, there are consequences. Graves was eventually arrested and found guilty of 1 felony count of grand theft and 52 misdemeanor counts of petty theft. The jury had to sift through a mountain of evidence over several weeks before reaching their verdict, a testament to the severity and complexity of the case. Her actions had a profound impact on the retailers and the public. As District Attorney Brooke Jenkins stated, these egregious thefts greatly impair retailers' ability to operate and serve the general public. It's a stark reminder that crime doesn't just affect the immediate victims, but has wide-ranging societal implications. Currently, Graves remains free on bond, with sentencing set for May 24th. She faces more than 3 years in prison, a hefty price to pay for her brazen thefts. Her case serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of criminal behavior and the importance of vigilance when it comes to retail theft. Remember, while self-checkout systems offer convenience, they can also be exploited. Always remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities. Until next time, stay safe.